Welcome to Sideline to Baseline with your hosts MB and K Lou. But guess what? MB had a few things to do tonight. He had to get on that road. You know, it's back to school time, and everybody's starting to get ready for school. And hey, man, family dude is called, so MB's out of here for the night. But a replacement that you definitely know and who you trust.
Sure.
Number one co-host in the world, Pike Jam. What's going on, Pike?
What's up? What's up? What's going on, brother? What's going on?
Look, man, just having fun, man. Obviously the sports world been a little quiet, a little collapse. Well, a big collapse after the Olympics. Still wasn't pleased, still looking back on that track thing, looking at that foolery happen on the men's side. They got to do a better job. If the women ain't say the day for the U.S., boy, it'll be pitiful. And we got to turn right around in 3 years and do this again.
Absolutely, we do. Absolutely, we do. We got to turn right around and do it again, and I think we'll be ready.
Yeah. The other thing is, heck, 2022, you got the world, so you have a repeat of these same athletes trying to do it one more time. I'm sure Allison Felix probably will try one more time. I'm not sure she actually announced her retirement. I don't think that happened. I think everybody kind of thought she would, but I think
Assuming she's retiring.
yeah, but I think she won't. Why retire? You gotten into this kind of shape and you got one more shot at the worlds to walk away, just a year later. It ain't like it's a situation where you got to wait 4 more years or even 2 years usually for the worlds because of the pandemic and how everything fell. The worlds are just a year away. So I think she's going to get it in. Not quite even a whole year now.
I think she will. I agree with that. When you say it like that, within a year time, and she's right now, she's just broke Carl Lewis' record by being the most decorated track and field athlete of all time. So I think right now would just be another glaze on her donut, another thing she'd be adding to her legacy. I hated the fact that her and Nike kind of ended the way they did, how they, took the support from her like that and canceled her contract when she had got pregnant like that. But other than that, man, I think, again, she's, what a remarkable career, from
Well,
a
I definitely didn't concern myself with it, not because it wasn't bad and stuff with Nike, but actually when you look at it, it brought a whole nother player into the to the operation. So Athleta got into the game, and you started noticing a bunch of jerseys, especially on the women's side, wearing Athleta. So hey, well Nike slip, Athleta gripped. Man, let's get right into it, man. You sent me a text earlier today, and of something that's been going on for the past, as we know, at least for the past 3 weeks. But now it's really getting to the point where they're saying they're making something out of it. And there's what I like to call the ACC alliance, baby, because I'm an ACC guy. But reality is, it's Pac-12, Big Ten, and ACC are coming together to form some type of alliance, and they're being really, really hush hush about it. Pac Jam, you spoke of this a little while ago, that you felt like on the horizon a super conference, I think is what you call it,
right.
would come about. I spoke about it about 12 years ago, Pac Jam. Hate to bust your bubble. When I was still in South Carolina doing radio there, I talked about it then, and I didn't even know. I honestly still don't know why it took this long, because the writing was on the wall back then. When the ACC made that move and grabbed Virginia Tech, Miami, and all that, when that happened, I was like, hey, it's natural. Why don't they? This gonna be a super league. So Pac Jam, expound though upon what you were discussing.
Well, again, I was discussing about the SEC is what I was talking about when we had the addition of Oklahoma and Texas coming aboard, and I was talking about that being making a power conference, and I was excited. I'm still excited about that, and now I see what the alliance coming about. It seems like to me it's going to be those two. Those two. I don't know what names they're going to use. That right now they're saying alliance as far as the Pac-12, ACC, and Big Ten, and then they're just saying super conference. They're saying basically the SEC conference still. I think I like what it's doing. I believe it was speeded up from the NIL movement, the name, image, likeness movement. I believe once that was won in the courts, I believe that to me, when I seen that, I believe that opened the doors for everybody because at that moment we see the NCAA kind of back up from anything football after that. We ain't really been seeing NCAA really say anything or really try to get out there after that. And so to me, the conference alignment just was on the back, just was on the backside of that. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be a great thing. I'm still, I'm an SEC guy, so I'm interested to see how that will work. Those two against each other, you know what I mean? Because it looks like that's where it's heading at. Because if you got the alliance forming up with those commissioners with the Pac-12, Big 10, ACC, and then you got the SEC doing what they're doing, I'm pretty sure they're coming into if I have to say, they're coming into each other and they're going to meet head to head on what's going to decide what's going to happen. It's going to be like a battle of power, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Who's going to give in, who's not going to give in, because it's a lot of money involved. You know what I mean?
Wow. It's about time you woke up. I was wondering, I didn't talk to you about this at all on purpose because I wanted this to be really engaging and them not to see the fireworks, not to be able to see the fireworks because we done had them all on the phone. So let's dig in here. Obviously, you're an SEC guy. I say their reign of terror just got nullified. It's over for the SEC. And when I say it's over, they basically are locked in, Pac Jam. They will have to bow down to this new alliance. You tell me why that won't happen.
Well, I'm going to tell you why it won't happen. The reason why it won't happen, that they won't bow down to them, is because we all know what's the biggest elephant in the room of all sports. What's the biggest elephant in the room of any sports entity from collegiate to the professional ranks? Money. Who is one of the biggest money spenders in sports?
Texas.
Networks.
Oh, okay.
Networks. So what we're seeing is, let's watch how the networks position themselves. Because what I did notice in the alliance and what I did notice in the SEC power lineup is there's one money person missing that has a network themselves, and that's Notre Dame. So this will be very interesting to see what happens here.
So what do you mean? Like when you say Notre Dame and interesting, you think for 1 second they'll align in the SEC?
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I believe.
Okay, go ahead.
I believe, to me, I think by the SEC securing Texas helps them a lot in this situation. Because when you look at it, when you look at it, you said when you look at overall, I mean, when we look at, because my thing is we look at all the sports right now. This not just a football thing, this is all sports, right? Is it not?
Hey, this is so funny. I'm about to come off the top rope.
So it seems to me where the networks, who they decide to get into bed with, to me, what would determine a lot of this.
Pac Jam, the SEC made a great move. Let me tell you that first and foremost. Getting Texas and Oklahoma, that was terrific. That was monumental. Okay, hands down. But what they didn't account for what would that cost, and what the other three power conferences, because it's no longer Power 5, it's Power 4, y'all. SEC just ruined the Power 5 game. Use Power 4 from now on, okay? And the reason why they were able to shut it down, when the SEC pulled that over, they completely dismantled the Big 12. So guess what? Baylor, Texas Tech, Who I'm missing? TCU. I'm talking about
Right. Iowa State.
Iowa State.
Iowa State.
Listen,
Right.
they beating down these conferences' door to get in.
Right.
The other
Right.
4, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Big 12 is over with. Trust me, it's done. Hey, Jim, this is what I'm gonna do to you. Name your big games the past 5 years, money games. Obviously we're not talking about BCS. That's decided by other people. I'm talking about what you guys decided to be money games. Talk about the teams. Who are they?
Well, you would have to say the SEC championship.
No.
You would have to.
I said money games, so that means your AD picked it. Nick
Oh.
Saban and your AD picked it. Where are they coming from? Who are the games?
You look at our ACC challenge. You look at that. Are we counting that?
I'm talking. Yeah, right now you got Miami. Who was it the year before? What you will find, Pat?
Year before it was Duke.
And what you will find, this is my point. What you will find is you are out of conference, which makes perfect sense. Those games. You got to come pay the piper now. Now you got to come to this new group that's formed and say, can we please play y'all? Because guess what? They don't have to do. They don't have to play not one SEC team and still get all the notoriety the entire season and still don't see y'all to the BCS playoff system. And It won't change anything for them. But you guys, you're stuck. You got to play your own conference schedule for everything. No more going outside. Who you going to go outside to play? UCF? Who you going to go outside to play? Memphis?
No, I'm listening.
That's where, see, they have shut y'all down. They're the only show in town. That's what they are now.
But I can argue and say
USC. Hold on, a USC Michigan game. That's huge money. A Michigan State, or Oregon Clemson game. That's huge money. Everybody, including the SEC fans, gonna want to go see it. There's not a game now that you can put on that everybody in the country gonna want to see because they're gonna see it in conference. We'll see it every time.
But my thing is, if my thing is, I'm gonna say this, because we still right now is top heavy. Still, even if we look at what the alliance that's being formed, you're still looking at Clemson, Ohio State.
There's whole country else. Though. The SEC top
right, right. So that's what I'm saying. So there's still interest in the SEC football though.
No, I'm not saying you're lacking interest. I'm saying your out of conference games become trash. They were draws. You had a draw every out of conference game. That's no longer the case.
So you say
you got to pay the piper to do that. So it's gonna be a deal that by and large supports the alliance. Why? Because they don't need you anymore. They don't need to play Alabama not one time because they're going to get their Alabama game. It's called a playoff system. They don't need to play LSU not one game because they're going to get LSU. It's called a playoff system. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So regardless.
So you're saying SEC is going to be upset. So you're saying Alabama, LSU, or Georgia will be upset because they can't play an Ohio State type team?
Absolutely.
Why would they be?
Wait. Why are you?
Because what you're doing, you're still making a point like we're second tier to the alliance type teams. I'm not getting that. I don't believe that.
You become second tier immediately. Look who you playing for your money game. You yourself going to the A to get to see it. You going to see Miami play Alabama. That's over with. Lest you come see us on our territory and whatever we want, we get, or we walk away. You have zero leverage now because these three conferences can keep playing each other and produce those type games. You can no longer do it. We're going to see you play Texas every 2 years. Who cares? We're going to see you play Oklahoma every year, every 2 years. Who cares? That's what it becomes. It becomes a rivalry. Okay. Yeah, they're exciting. They're great, but they're a rivalry. These teams that now can go back and forth from the Big 12 to the Big 10 to the ACC, these are games never seen before. Wow. You know what I mean? And then when Baylor and Iowa State, which Iowa's definitely probably going to go to the Big 10, you know what I mean? And anything close, Baylor probably wants Pac-12. You see what I'm saying? What you guys were created, what you did created a vacuum, and it was benefiting you for all of about 48 hours. And then these other three conferences got in a room, and it's over for you guys. You guys are now, when I say over, yes, you can still win championships. Yes, you can still win and all that stuff, but you can't play the games you want to play anymore because this new alliance controls all of that.
So you're saying the new alliance going to refuse to play Alabama?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Watch this.
Well, they're doing that now anyway, though. They're doing that now anyway.
If you don't play them on their terms, so the money's going to be lopsided. Trust me on that. You won't earn the lion's share or even half of it. So guess what you're going to say?
Clemson won't schedule us now at all. Well, so they doing that now anyway.
You talking different language now. Like you moving the goalposts right now, what you're doing. You ask me a question based on what we're discussing. So if you want to say, hey, I'm going to beat my chest, nobody wants to play us, then we can talk that. That's a different talking point. But the one we're discussing right now is who can you play now? There's not a team. Do you realize what just happened? There's not a team that you want to go play that you can now play like you could just a year ago. Those contracts are a done deal. It's over with. Now you got they're tearing ripping them up, and actually, one of the ADs was actually quoted as saying, "We're not shredding games and tearing up contracts right now." Yeah, I know that's next because now you hold all the cards. Just think about it. It was a business deal. There's only 4 shows in town. Let's face it. Or are you thinking the Power 5 is still a Power 5?
But I believe what's going to happen is what always happens is the networks get involved and the networks cut the checks. I don't think Alabama's going, if Alabama wants to play, if they decide to play Oregon, all of a sudden Oregon say we want to do this here. That's where networks get involved in. That's what happens there. The ESPNs, the ABCs, the CBSs get involved and say, okay, they cut the checks. Universities ain't going broke or are out here trying to shell out millions to do it. I believe the networks will pay for those things.
That's not the discussion. What I'm saying is, and what I told you is, the lion's share is going to go to this new alliance. That's what I'm banking on. That's what I'm telling you is going to occur. Based on you guys, you don't have another choice. They do. They say, hey, the same network has to pay them to play each other. You see what I'm getting at? For like I say, a Clemson and Oregon game, the same network gonna pay them the same money they would have played Oregon to play.
I believe the games will still get paid. The check's gonna come a little higher, and they're gonna come from the networks. But I don't think it's nothing like, oh, it's gonna be the thing on Wall of Germany. I don't think it's gonna. That's gonna happen.
Definitely, because they don't have to, Pac Jam.
But that's why I said the networks are involved for those games to be played. That's why it's not going to be a Wall of Germany.
But that's what I'm telling you. Like the money is going to be the same for them, whether they stay within the alliance or whether they play the top teams coming out of the SEC. Therefore, they're going to say, if you guys want us to play them, we want this amount, and we don't want them to get the same. That's what I'm trying to tell you is about to start occurring. They about to.
I'll be definitely looking forward to see how this turns out. Then.
Oh yeah, see, hey, that when Pac Jam get a little upset, he get a little hot and bothered.
No, I'm not upset at all. I'm not hot about that.
Coming at him like this, but I laugh.
No, I'm not upset.
because I said
I'm not.
I said you don't have a clue of what that means. You think it's cute but you don't realize
But I'm not upset about it.
offensive. It's a direct offensive and defensive completely against the SEC. That's all it is. They came together because now with that kind of power, no conference matches up with the SEC. It's not even close. Not one. But together, now all of a sudden we the only show in town. And like I said,
I'm definitely looking forward to see how this turns out.
Hey, y'all, Oklahoma, y'all might be able to get Oklahoma State. Y'all might be able to get
Oklahoma State. We'll send Mike Gundy to you. You want to pick on a kid? Come pick on me.
Yeah, I'm 40.
You want to pick on 18-year-old? I'm 40. Come pick on me. I'm 40. We'll send him to you.
Yeah, boy.
He likes to fight. We'll send the little mini Manny Pacquiao to you. He likes to fight.
No, man. Hey, that's a good game. He was talking against the media. He felt like he could whoop the media.
He was talking to a 60-year-old guy with a 60-year-old 300-pound reporter.
Still media. So look,
right.
You Pac Jam been watching the preseason through and through. That ain't my thing, y'all. Pac Jam said he liked what the young quarterbacks are doing in the preseason. So we gonna pick Pac Jam brain about the preseason, who he likes, who he thinks gonna be trash, and then the quarterbacks that he likes. Go ahead, Pac.
Hey, starting right up, man. Got to go right on to the south side of Chicago, man. No other place, man. Right there, Justin Fields, man. That's the guy. That's the guy. He's everything you ever wanted, Chicago. Chicago has never, it's funny because that's one historical franchise, as great as it is, as much they love football, has never had a 15-year guy they can count on to being their quarterback. They've never had one. You got to go back to the 30s to find somebody. They've never had the Bears have never had that guy. And so finally the Bears got that guy in Justin Fields, man. All they got to do is show up that offensive line, and they got some, because the Bears got one of the top three defenses in the NFL. They just need some show up that offensive line a little bit, and they got some, man. Justin Fields is the real deal. And it's funny to me because every year we go through the same thing in the draft with these quarterbacks. Every year we get guys like the Josh Rosen, who's no longer in the NFL, who shoots up the draft board. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he was all world when he was in college, but he shoots up the draft board. Guys like BYU, Zach Wilson shoots up the draft board. All of a sudden he's a can't miss guy. Oh, he's great at improvising. And I'm like, so we're drafting this guy number 2 because he's great at improvising? That's what we're doing? When Justin Fields is showing you through the fire that he's went through the fire, you know what I mean, through the battle, and showed you in BCS games, Big 10 games, he's the guy. And I will go on record right now to say, honestly, that Justin Fields is the best quarterback in that draft, as I was screaming during the draft process. And I kept saying, Kevin, why they keep dropping him down? What's going on? Why they keep lying on him? Like, it's like every day we're trying to find a scandal on Justin Fields or something. You know what I mean? I gotta push back. Only showed us he was the guy.
I definitely gotta push back on Justin Fields.
But
he definitely deserved to drop the way he did based upon his performance during the season. I really felt like his poor performances that he had was more based on him and his focus, meaning like he was focused, but almost too focused. He never wanted to make a mistake, which anybody knows as playing at an elite level, when you put that much pressure is when you make all the mistakes. And so at the end of the day, it's not their job to psychoanalyze Justin Fields and say why he's playing bad. They're supposed to look at the film and decide if he's playing bad or not. So I think he worked himself down that board. But you just believe.
But he didn't show you in the BCS games and the BCS playoff. He didn't show you he was the real deal.
Yes,
when he single-handedly beat Clemson, he didn't show you then.
He
with three
definitely
cracked ribs. He didn't show you that.
he definitely did, but I'm telling you why I feel like he dropped. I'm not saying they were right.
Okay.
I felt like you, but when you look at the film don't lie. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So you can either count those games or discount those games where he struggled and then only count what the game you spoke about. You know what I'm saying? So you can pick and choose, what you look at. But if you're a guy, a scout, and you're taking the whole season and putting it together, then yeah, he's not a clear cut number one. Yeah, it's not even close.
Well, right now he's showing he's the guy. He's showing that he's the guy. Trey Lance he's looking good as well. He is who they say he is. He's gonna be a guy that's gonna be electrifying. He likes to sling that ball. He loves the deep ball. He likes to run. You know what I mean? Those are the two things he likes to do. He ain't no check down in Trey Lance. You know what I mean? There's no check down in it. Is I'm throwing it deep or I'm running it down there. You know what I mean? So he looks good. Once again, Mac Jones. I think I might have said that today, and I thought about it earlier today. I look at drafting a quarterback like I look at marriage. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's who you fall in the hands, who hands you fall into. Because Mac Jones couldn't have fell in a better place. Great offensive line, great defense. Just get the job done, find the open man. And Mac Jones gonna do well, and he's doing so well. He's got a lot of pressure on Cam, where Cam is looking right now on the outside looking in because Mac Jones is doing so well. Because from yourself and playing in the league and playing under some of those assistants of Belichick's system that they all about taking care of the football, giving my defense a chance to win the game. So anytime, and that's the kind of quarterback Mac Jones is. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
He ain't trying nothing that's not there. And so he's looking like he may be the starter. He's looking good. Zach Wilson is just what they're drafted. You know what I mean? He out there just slanging it around. He just, that's what they got. That's what they got. But there's no future. I don't see him doing anything. I don't see him lasting. After 2 years, I just see them trying to find another quarterback. I mean, I don't. The buzz would be over with off Zach Wilson. You know what I mean? He spent more time on the sideline idolizing Aaron Rodgers in the camp the other day. They had to tell him to get on the field, and it was his rep was up. He admitted that saying I'm a fanboy was his exact words. He said I'm a fanboy of Aaron Rodgers. So go figure. You know what I mean? But
so you said that like that's a bad thing. So what Pac Jam don't like about that?
What my thing is, I hear a lot of people talk about the style of Aaron Rodgers and the style of Brett Favre. But I think what doesn't get talked about enough is these guys know the defenses, they know the game, they know the X's and O's of the game inside and out. So you can't get caught up in them improvising on the third down and think that's just who they are. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think that's what they miss it with those two. When you see them compare these young quarterbacks to Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre on improvising and playing loose, like no, just because they extended play on 3rd and 11, that don't misunderstand and don't miseducate yourself on knowing how good these guys are, film study guys, between the ears, how these guys know what's going on out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think analysts sometimes would just be like, oh, he just played loose and free. And no, it's not. No, it's more than that. It's more than that. Because if that was the case, any and everybody would be doing it. Florida.
Right. So anybody else? So what teams are you looking at and expecting a lot from? And within those teams, any players that you're excited about?
As far as the teams is with the rookie quarterbacks or just teams in general?
Just in general. NFL
teams in general.
I'm locked into the preseason.
Teams in general. I'm expecting an awful lot from the Cleveland Browns this season. I'm expecting an awful lot because they have finally put together they got everything they need. Everything they need. I'm expecting them to go on. I'm expecting another big run from them. I'm expecting a big run from Cleveland Browns this season. I'm even expecting a big run from New England this season, believe it or not.
Okay.
The team that's going to have the letdown, and I'm going to call it here first. The team that's going to have the biggest letdown this season will be the Buffalo Bills.
Mm.
And everybody is high on Buffalo to unseat Kansas City. And I'm going to be here first to tell you that Buffalo will be the team on the outside looking in.
Right.
And the reason why I would say that is because, one, Buffalo has no pass rush. Their defensive line, they have no pass rush to contend. Number two, I don't believe Buffalo has the I don't believe that they have the, you know how we go from that step, that next level? I don't see them.
Yeah.
I don't see it in them. Like, you know how you can look at a team and you say, okay,
Right.
they finna take that next step. I don't see it in them. I don't even, like, even when the interviews and talking to the players and watching them play, I don't see a next step in them. I think Buffalo took advantage of a down year from New England. Buffalo took advantage of more or less a nobody's paying attention, more or less. You know what I'm saying? There was a hot, surprising team, almost like Minnesota Vikings was a couple of years ago with our Cousins before Stephon Diggs left. Remember when Minnesota made that run and played New England like that? And then the following year, Minnesota fell all the way out. Remember that?
Absolutely.
Just about 2 years ago?
Yeah.
That's what I see in Buffalo. I don't see Buffalo being that team next year, this upcoming season. Another team I see going 5-12, and I posted that, and that was no hate, no shade, but that's just what I see from them. And that's the Dallas Cowboys. I see the Dallas Cowboys going 5-12. And I'm going to tell you why. The first reason why 5-12 is because Dak Prescott is not healthy. Dak Prescott has an injury right now under his shoulder, a baseball injury, an injury a quarterback has never gotten before. It's a ligament up under his shoulder blade. And Dak has been tossing the ball with his non-throwing hand, his left hand.
Wow.
During camp. Wow. He's not going to play in the preseason. And week 1, you know who Dallas plays? Who? Week 1? In Tampa. Yeah, that's who they play. Tampa Bay. In Tampa, week 1. Dak, Dak hasn't thrown the ball. Dak hasn't thrown the ball none. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about going week 1 against Tampa Bay. He's already had his second MRI. Troy Aikman is on record yesterday saying the injury is worse than Dallas reported it. Troy was on the radio saying the injury is worse than what Dallas reported injury to be. Michael Irvin is on the radio yesterday saying it does not look good. He said he was there. He said he watched him throw the ball with his tossing with his left hand. Wow. It don't look good.
Right.
Dak is throwing 7-8 yard passes right now with his throwing arm.
Wow.
And to me, to start week 1 against Tampa Bay, who returns 22 or 22 starters, opening night, raise the banner, JPP, it don't, Sapai say it's a whole lot of Zopound coming down, man. That would not look good. It's not going to look good for Zach, man. For Dak Prescott, Dakota Prescott, it won't look good for him. I look for him to go out that game. Mm-hmm. I look for him to go out that game, and Dallas has no backup at all. They have no backup, and we know Dallas is all things Dak Prescott.
Wow. Yeah.
And the thing about it is, everybody, even Dallas fans, nobody can tell you in confidence that Dak is ready. Mm-hmm. Nobody.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting, man, and we appreciate your little journey through the NFL and the teams that you thought and teams and players that you think are going to perform poorly or very well. Hey, let's talk about this KD and Draymond talk interview. I think happened yesterday or the day before. I watched it.
Happened 3 days ago, actually.
Oh, it was 3 days ago?
3 days ago, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I watched it, and it was awesome. First of all, that's awesome for Draymond, one of his first, his own show. Congratulations to him. And then secondly, one of the first guys he brings on is obviously a guy that we all thought wanted to square up with him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's interesting that he went right at it, and then he talked about Katie, and let's talk about that a little bit, Pac Jam. How he talked about Katie, his makeup, who he is, and how'd you feel about Katie really feeling like, you know, he's a guy now that's tired of being, you know, an afterthought. And when I say an afterthought, not really in that sense, but never the first thought. He's always the second guy. What do you think about that?
Well, I think KD has to understand the reason why he's looked at like that from many fans is because one, fans have never seen you lead anything.
Mm-hmm.
So KD kept harping in that interview saying people don't like him because he played with because he won so much with Golden State. But KD, that's to me to say that it's not being truthful. That's not why they don't like you. They don't like you because it wasn't in fact they don't like it because one, how you try to play their intelligence. KD,
Mm-hmm.
you went to a team that was, when I say built, you went to a Maserati
Mm-hmm.
and all you did was turn on the car.
Uh-huh.
So we can't give you credit for cranking up a Maserati. You know, that's why people were so excited this past season because they felt that, hey, by Kyrie being injured and James Harden being on one leg, this will be the very first time that you actually said, get on my back like a JanSport book bag, and I'm going to take y'all to the promised land. This was your time to show us that you are a Greek freak, that you are a LeBron James type guy, that you can be that lead dog. That's why after game 5, which was the best statistical night of your entire NBA career, was so much celebrated because people felt that you had arrived.
Right.
Not knowing game 6, you came back out and said, I was tired. When the LeBron fans say that's what LeBron put that game 5 stat line up an entire playoff, not a series, an entire playoff, he averaged a triple-double. You put it up one time, and you was game 6, you said, I'm tired. So so I think he's not being truthful with himself and not understanding. People want to see you carry a team to say you're the best guy in sports today, that you're the best player, or to get the props that you want, because he keeps saying, I'm tired of being perceived as number 2. I was number 2 here, number 2 there, number 2 here. But to be perceived number 1, you got to be that lead dog.
Right.
And that's what the fans have never saw from you, you know? And so that's why people attack him on a daily basis on his Twitter feed and on his Instagram feed, is because he has never been that lead dog. You know what I'm saying? Even if he win a championship with Kyrie and Harden, if both of those guys healthy, when they win it, he still won't get the credit because of the fact people are saying you're playing with another one of those Golden State Warrior type teams.
Right.
People want to see you with Ilgauskas. You know where he's at now? The Z-Man, anybody know where he's at? Damon Jones, anybody know where he's at right now? Or Larry Hughes. You know what I'm saying? People want to see you with a team like that, and you take them somewhere.
Right.
So that's why, that's why I believe he's not getting that, he's getting attacked by the fans, and he's saying he don't understand. He's blaming it to the fact that because he won so much with Golden State. No, KD knows he's not being truthful. He knows the real reason. He doesn't want to verbalize it, but he knows why, that he's not being put in that light. The media, on the other hand, is more or less going through the same disease they went through with Michael Jordan in the latter part of his career. We're tired of giving him the MVP, so we're trying to find someone else. Right. That's what LeBron's going through right now. It's the fact that we tired of LeBron. It ain't the fact that, I was talking with a guy today and I said, well, how is LeBron, when people say LeBron's he done fell off in stats, but his stats, no one still is averaging what he's averaging. When a guy averaged 27, 7 and 7, and you say it's a down year, well, hell, what's the up year? Yeah. Oh, he averaged 7.3 assists. Last year, averaged 8.9. That's what they was talking about on the sports show today. So you see, so when you got to find little things like that to say a person is not, that he done fell off and nobody's still averaging 27, 7 and 7.
Right.
This is what we're doing now. It's because we're tired of LeBron and we trying to hurry up and quickly anoint somebody else, even if they ain't in position to receive the anointment. It almost funny me because I remember I hate to go biblical, but when in the Bible that said when he said to go down there and find one of the sons of Jesse, the Bible said that when the prophet was trying to pour the oil wouldn't flow until it was the right one. He said, you must got
There
another
it is.
son. He said it
There it
wasn't a
is.
little small one. He went and found a little ruddy
Preach,
one.
Pac
His name
Jam.
was David, and he poured it, and the oil flowed. Why? Because that was the one the anointing was supposed to go. We out here trying to anoint somebody, but ain't no oil coming out. You know what I mean? The oil's still on LeBron. He's still the anointed one. You know what I mean? It ain't flowing on the Greek freak right now.
Man.
It ain't flowing on KD right now. I hate to go there behind the basketball Bethel. I normally I hate to get in the Bethel basketball church congregation pulpit, but it's the truth. We trying to anoint guys in the NBA that ain't ready to be anointed as that next guy, man. And that's okay. It's okay to still have a guy at year 19 still being that dude.
Uh-huh.
It's all I ain't got no beef with Tom Brady. He's still that dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But it just boggles me how we in the NBA trying to find that dude, and the dude is showing us he ain't that dude.
Right. Right.
We just had an NBA season where every superstar on every team was injured, and a guy won a championship. Nobody said anything about it. Man, they played one healthy team all the way through.
That's amazing, man.
You know, so hey, it's just where we at in this thing.
So I skipped this, but I forgot. Let's go back to it. You were talking about teams and players, and maybe what they'll end up doing this year. You forgot, and I thought you would, and it's my fault because I didn't lead you to it. But Coach John Gruden, baby, talk to us about the Raiders.
Well, again, it goes back to we got so impressed with John Gruden on the microphone on Monday Night Football. He even had the women at work and on my job saying Starsky and Hutch. That's Starsky and Hutch on the 212. All the sound. He was giving us so much sound, and for some reason or another, man, I don't know how. But they got caught on to that. Gave him a job, made him $100 million man. And John Gruden is not winning in Raider Town.
Right.
He is not winning in Raider Town. John Gruden has Pro Bowl players over there, and he's still not winning in Raider Town.
Oh.
And it's time for us to realize that just because you can, and it's funny because, you talk about it all the time. When you've been around the game for years, you can look at something. I mean, from high school to NFL, you can look at a set and tell me what they finna run by just looking at it. You know what I mean? Because you've been around it so long. You know what I'm saying? And so now we see that it takes more than Starsky and Hutch. That don't mean you know how to coach. That don't mean you know how to draft. And I just think, it's time for us to call John Gruden out on the carpet. It's time for John Gruden. It's time to move on from John Gruden. John Gruden is just what I thought he was. A fraud. A snake oil salesman. He was a used car salesman. John Gruden, you know how John Gruden backed his way into a job over there in Tampa, got a Super Bowl, got on the mic, started sounding like Jam Pony doing Monday Night Football, and was able to Jam Pony his way into a coaching job, $100 million job at that.
Man, that's interesting, and our show viewers definitely know I spoke about him. Just so happened to speak about him a Friday ago. So we right on the same line of thinking, Pac Jam. Finally, we talked about the young QBs, John Gruden, Katie, and Draymond. One of the things that Katie and Draymond we didn't discuss, Pac Jam, we'll come right back to it, was they were able to discuss that fight when they were playing the LA Clippers, and it wasn't no fisticuffs, but it was a fight, war of words. when him and Draymond went at it, and Draymond came back at it. We was winning before you got here, basically. And both of them agreed and said that it wasn't on them, but they blamed Steve Kerr and ownership. How'd you feel about that?
Again, that's a scapegoat, not that's being, finding, use them to be the scapegoat. Because at the end of the day, when KD used the reference of, he said they should have let us do like they did on The Last Dance when the team came in and they addressed the problem. Well, if that was the case, then what was Steph Curry? Because I noticed nobody has never mentioned Steph Curry's name from the time that he called KD the BITCH word, from that day, from the clip of night, from that game until this very day, Friday the 20th, nobody has mentioned where was Steph Curry. Because my thing is this, it shows me what I already knew. And no shade at Steph Curry, but it's what I already knew about Steph Curry. Steph Curry is not a leader of men.
Wait.
And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. Yes, don't cut me off. I'm going to tell you why. Because even as Jordan was talking about doing The Last Dance, the leader of men would have assembled it from the big, would have headed off right then. Even when it happened on the court that day, you see what happened. You see DeMarcus Cousins grabs Draymond, yanks him up, and gets in his face and calms him down. You see Iguodala stands up and goes to KD and hugs him and whispers in his ear. The camera goes to Curry. Curry drops his head in his lap. Curry never says nothing. Even in the time that it was in the locker room, Draymond Green never mentions Steph Curry's name.
Okay.
But you're billed as the face of the team and the face of the organization. It's not Bob Myers. Bob Myers not on the team. He's the general manager. All Bob Myers said was, because, and Steve Kerr said was, they told Dre, listen, you need to go apologize. And you need to do this. And Dre's thing was to them was, I'm not going to say what y'all want me to say.
Well, but see, I don't know how.
And so being that he wouldn't say, being that Draymond wouldn't say what he wouldn't verbal, they wanted him to say what the statement they wanted him to say. Being he didn't verbalize what they wanted to verbalize, they suspend him.
Right.
Because he said, I'm not saying that. No, I ain't doing that. So they suspend Dre one game.
Right.
And that's on his way out the door. He told them, y'all gonna F this up. Because they wanted Dre to go to them with their little perform, their little proofread speech. Dre, you go to him with this. Dre saying you doing that, man.
But I blame him. I blame really KD again, man. Because why are you you want to be the lead dog, you want to be number one, you want to be an alpha. Why don't you force the conversation to happen? Why are you waiting on people? They should have let us do. No, you do it.
Well, if you look at how it happened, if you go by what Draymond and KD say, the storyline of it, they fly back from Golden State.
Pac Jam. Let me interrupt all that. On a football team, we don't care nothing about none of that. It's going down in the locker room immediately.
Well, to me, comparing football players to basketball is apples and oranges anyway. Because football players will never I ain't never seen a football player let another player call him out his name anyway without him trying to break the other man's jaw anyway. That don't happen like it does in basketball. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Let's be real about that part. Because the minute somebody call you a female dog in your face, right then you trying to rearrange his whole jaw, his whole facial.
It's gonna be a
You see
problem.
What I'm saying?
Now the cool part is we friends afterwards, but it's gonna be a problem until we handle that.
Because you're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Right. So my thing is, if we go back to the storyline of it, team come back, everybody go home. Draymond said him and Bob Myers and Steve Kerr was back in the office for a whole hour and a half in the parking lot. He said his driver was waiting on him an hour and a half, like what's going on? So when they suspended Dre didn't come back. Remember, They suspended him. He didn't come back to the team. So what I'm saying is 48 hours done went by before KD and the team even see Draymond again.
Okay.
Because he couldn't come back to the facility. So now what in KD's defense on just that particular part is like, hey, y'all done handled it like that. So me stepping in him now, y'all already done took my side and y'all done did it that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, y'all didn't even talk to me. Y'all done suspended the dude. Because the dude done told you he ain't apologized the way y'all want me to apologize.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Well, we know them two should have been the ones, but like I still say, where was Steph Curry at and all of this here if you supposed to be, but we know he ain't that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's another reason why quiet is kept. Me and you both know why Draymond ain't been traded yet, because they don't have an alpha male in there. That was the whole reason to go get Iguodala back.
They need him.
Iguodala they was brought back just for that. They might trade Draymond now because they was able to bring Iguodala back, an alpha male. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because they didn't have one.
Right. Yeah.
And Draymond knows that. Ain't nobody scared of nobody else on that team.
Wow. Well, that's interesting, Pac Jam. We sure appreciate you coming through, sharing all that knowledge with us. Is there anything you wanted to discuss before we shut
Hey,
this
man,
thing
you know,
up?
once again, man, I just want to let the people know, man, I need to tread lightly, man, because, you know, don't Labor Day weekend. We still in Atlanta. It's still on. It's still Alabama against the U, man.
Uh-oh.
And what I'm hearing right now, listen, what I'm hearing right now in the quarterback situation in Alabama, all I'm hearing is this kid is looking real scary. He's throwing 3 and 4 tubs a day. And they're saying this is supposed to be the best Alabama defense in 7 years. It's going to take the field. So I'm just saying, man, it's going to be interesting, man. Hey, by the way, man, shout out to Kool-Aid down there, man. Kool-Aid down there in Alabama, man. Getting the ink in that deal, man. Name that NIL deal with the Kool-Aid pack, man. It's always good when your mama name you something. You can get paid for what mama named you. My defensive back, Kool-Aid Adams, man. I got to ink the deal NIL with Kool-Aid, man. So it's always good, you know.
So always a shout out. The Alabama, I guess you expected him to say the quarterback situation was volatile and that they needed a quarterback. He definitely came through with what we expected, he'd say. Greatest thing since sliced bread. Best quarterback to come out of Alabama in Alabama history. The Heisman Trophy as a freshman. The $1 million man himself. So we appreciate y'all.
Is he paid? That what Nick say now. Nick said it. I didn't say that part. But did Nick say that? What Nick say? He already made that. That what Nick say now.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't. I let Double A know that. Let Double A know I didn't say that. That what Nick said.
Well, we'll see. You know, they still got to play the season, Pac Jam. And I see you excited about an alliance game that Alabama is playing. Let's see how excited you get about your SEC schedule. So you got to help me prove my point for me. We appreciate y'all pulling up, stopping through, hollering at us, because you know us from sideline to baseline with MB and K. Lou and the realest co-host in sports, Pac Jam.
Better
we'll holler at y'all. Peace.
We out.